The design of Mutianyu is actually very unique because for most Great Walls, they only have one side for the defensive purposes. Most of them is to the north side. So they defend these and the peepholes to defend against enemies because most enemies are Mongolians from the north, while the inside, the southern side, is just like a very plain, short wall, doesn't have any defensive purposes.
The reason why Mutianyu has this special design is because Mutianyu region was under the risk of being attacked from inside. Great Wall in ancient time not only had defensive purposes, but also sometimes worked as the key entry port for trades between Ming Dynasty and the Mongolians, just like customs nowadays. In fact, during peaceful periods, China was trading tea for the horses from Mongolians. And Mutianyu was one of the trading hubs back that time, so there was a risk that enemies could be disguised as businessmen and attack the Great Wall from inside. In this video with the Badaling Great Wall, as you could see, the wall is shorter to the inside. Only the wall to the north has been well designed for defensive purposes. Interestingly, the shorter wall is called Nuqiang. Literally translated, it means wall of women or wall of female. It was named after the royal female's gesture of leaning on the handrails in their gardens. Some also said it was named after it to remind the soldiers of their wives and children waiting for them back home, and there was a real threat for their families' lives when the enemies crossed the Great Wall, to inspire the soldier to fight until the last moment.
Now we're inside the enemy tower. Actually, most enemy towers have 2 stories. So the second floor, there used to be like wooden watchtower towers, or like places for the soldiers to rest, or like store their food or weapons, things like that. In most cases, they don't have stairways lead to the second floor. They only have ropes, ladders, things like that, because when enemies come inside this, they can take away the ladder, take away the rope, so they can better defend themselves against the enemies. And also, to most people's surprise, the enemy tower actually had doors and windows. So this is the evidence. Because in Beijing, especially in winter times, at these suburb areas, it is really strong wind and the temperature could reach as low as -20 Celsius degrees. So they use the doors and windows to keep them warm. So look at this place. This is the sign of the boat. Walking on the Great Wall, you can find some side towers, also called branch towers. They doesn't connect to any places. They're just like a lone tower standing over there. The purpose to build it is actually to defend the Great Wall. So if some enemies get really close to the other parts of the Great Wall, for instance, to that area, the soldiers could shoot the enemies at this place. So at certain intervals, they will have some branch towers for the protection of the Great Wall. So on the Great Wall, generally the soldiers will watch out or like shoot arrows at this place. In Chinese, it's called duokou. But this design has a fatal shortcoming. That is, if the enemies reach really close to the Great Wall, you have to lean outwards to shoot your enemies. And so what they find out, or what they invented in the Ming Dynasty, is a peephole at this place. So take a closer look. You found that this hole is actually slit downwards because it is specially designed to shoot enemies that is within very close range of the Great Wall. And also, if you pay attention, you could see a lot of sewage system on the Great Wall. It is because generally not all Great Walls are built by bricks. Some of it, the inside of it are hammed earth or dirt. So water could damage the architecture building. Avoid that, they build a sewage system on the top and the water will come out through there. And if you take a look outside, you can see the sewage system is actually about half a meters away from the body of the Great Wall. So the water doesn't just drop on the body of the wall, so it could better protect the Great Wall.
And all the draining systems that went out of the main body of the Great Wall are towards inside, the side with the fewer enemies, to avoid being used as a climbing point or hooking point by the enemies.
On the Great Wall, sometimes you can see some cannons. To most people's surprise, in the Ming Dynasty, the Chinese army actually take a very active usage of uh, the cannons. And the cannons back that time, they have to put the powder inside from the front. And then they put the small stones and ignite the powder so to hit the enemies. And in that time, the cannons are not movable. So most of them can only be stationed, placed at certain places, just like this one. If you have any questions about traveling to Beijing, feel free to reach out. Welcome to Beijing, welcome to China.